Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our scenario is entitled Draw the Blinds on Yesterday. It was written by Marcus L. Rowland. Our GM is Mick Swan, and Ford Fitch will be doing the recap as Cam Fletcher. This is episode 3. So without further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Ford?
It's been one humdinger of a time here. Strange women, happenings going on, being tailed by police. It's all a blur. Let me get back to the beginning of it here. Well, after all of our escapades, we decided to go to the British Museum and find out more information about this woman in the green scarf that seems to have our interests. We all kind of think that she might be going there for one reason or other. Maybe a staff member, maybe a visitor. We don't know. Myself and the Padre, we're kind of skeptical about this whole thing, but the others assured us it was the best lead we had. When we got to the museum, just before we did went inside, the Padre suggested that maybe one other lead we could go after is looking at the manifests of the airplane and seeing if we could come across, perhaps come across a lead to our mysterious lady. Right then and there, the Air Marshal Nielsen said that he'd go ahead and have a look into that. He said he thought he could, talk with the authorities there and maybe get something. So he went off to take care of that while we went to the museum. Went to the museum, talked around, and eventually got directed to the library. After also getting a little bit of information that one of the librarians, shortly after the time we kind of postulated that the lady was here, was one of the librarians got sick. So we went and investigated that there. Okay. We talked with the staff and asked about the staff member who got sick, and they told us that she fell ill and left. We asked them if we could have a look at what she was looking at the time, and it turned out to be something interesting there. I don't know too much. I was kind of looking around at the building in awe, but I kind of picked up along the way that there was a map that she had checked out, and that map was of this place near Salisbury, a little town out there. And turns out, after some time, we kind of got to thinking, well, what's been going on since we were gone, and we checked into that and found an interesting clue. Apparently, that town in the map that we discovered, it had a lead in regards to a double homicide there of 2 children, and the locals are calling it the work of some creature, some ghost of the area. I didn't quite understand what it all meant, but it was kind of an interesting coincidence that that was going on, and we checked the date on that, and the date of this homicide was the same date we all disappeared on the airplane. And that got our curiosity. Along the way, we also tried to look for some other things, and we came also across some partial manifests that were published in the papers of the flight, and we got some names and numbers and stuff, but it didn't seem to really churn out. We kind of hoped that the air marshal would come up with some information. Unfortunately, long story short, the air marshal, he had some problems there. Apparently, he had the there was trouble with the authorities there, and apparently they wanted to spend more time giving him grief than anything else. Apparently, he claims he had a problem with this guy named Brian, and wanted to spend more time giving him trouble than actually giving information. So that turned out to be a bust, I guess. After that, we decided to go back to the hotel to get a drink and gather our thoughts. Along the way, Rod noticed that there was a couple people following us. And we kind of thought that it's probably authorities keeping tabs on us, considering the situation was still under investigation. Time we got to the hotel, we didn't see much of anything. They didn't come in. So now we're here at the hotel, working out a game plan as to what we're going to do further. We've got all these coincidences with murders in this town at the same time when we disappeared and stuff. And it's really odd. I mean, I can't say I have a head for all this stuff, but it's rather uncanny. We're getting these little bits of information, strange women and people following us. It's like we're in some kind of Scooby-Doo mystery. Hey, I don't know what to make of it, but I got nothing better to do, so I'm just going to follow along and see what we can do. Till we could figure out what's going on. Of course, the Padre thinks he knows what's happening. He thinks it's witches. I don't know if I buy into that or not, but I would like to try and come up with an idea of what we're going to be doing if we're going to be doing this any further.
Cool. Thanks, Ford. Mick?
Thanks, Tom, and thanks, Ford. Yes, so you are still in the hotel. What's your plan of action, folks?
Well, I think that we were going to do a little more discussing. We're all there, yes?
Yes.
Yes, you're all there, yes.
A question. I don't know very well where this Lower Pulford is located. Is it possible? Where did we disappear off the map? Was it over England, or was it just after we left Greece?
You were told, or Ford, Cam was told by the chap at the embassy that the plane disappeared somewhere over the south coast of England.
Over the south coast of England.
Yeah, that's what the guy told me.
Now, conceivably, by a stretch, Wiltshire could be regarded as the south coast of England.
Okay.
It's the South Downs, certainly.
So, the other question, what was my other question? Oh, yes. Did any of you notice anything strange when they were interviewing us?
Can't say they did offhand.
The only thing I noticed, and I'll say it again, the only thing I noticed when they interviewed me was that the time was the calendar was up 3 weeks, exactly what we are in today.
I'll agree with Mr. Nelson. Had the same thing happen to me.
I personally must not have been paying that much attention. I was trying to be cooperative. I thought it was strange they were asking us questions.
I was also being cooperative too, but I also looked around in the room and that's what I saw.
I'm looking puzzled. Did anybody else notice the video cameras?
There were video cameras in the rooms?
There were video cameras?
They were in mine. They were hidden pretty well. I didn't see anything.
I'll take that as a no.
I didn't see any red light or anything flashing.
Why would they videotape?
Unless they were videotaping me. I don't know.
Well, they said they were looking for terrorists, yes?
Yes.
Mhm.
There is one other thing that I was thinking about very strongly. If you mentioned that the strange occurrences in Lower Poolford began to take place on the same day that our flight occurred. So it seems to me that the chronological order of things is that we left Athens, that we flew over here to England, and that while we were somewhere over South England, we disappeared. At the same time, something that they describe as a huge ape that could disappear appeared in this Lower Poolford area and began to mutilate animals and children. And then we appeared 3 weeks later. We landed in London, and then we were interviewed. And then while we were there, we saw the woman, who we think may be some sort of witch. But what does she do? And this is very interesting. She bypasses everyone. Somehow she is hypnotizing them or using some sort of spell. She goes to the British Museum. She looks up a map of the place we now suspect. And then what does she do? She probably goes there, or she's gone there, or on her way there. But if she was involved in what was going on, why would she need to look up a map? Unless she wasn't involved. But like us, she is investigating.
Maybe she lost the map to wherever she's going, and she just needs to get there.
No, I don't think so. I think that she is investigating the same way we are investigating. She wants to also know what happened.
If that's the case, then it sounds like we have mutual purpose.
Let's go to South Poolford and go check it out.
I must get permission to go. Now, we also have another thing, because we talked about it before. There are many people in this hotel that were also on the flight. Perhaps we should communicate with them and see if they know anything, if they saw more, or they were aware of anything. In any case, I must get permission before I can do any of this.
I didn't know you were married.
I have to get permission from my bishop. No, I'm not married. No.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
In the church, I'm a member of the clergy. I'm not allowed to do anything without the permission.
Married to the church, as they say, right?
That is correct. Yes, I am married to Christ Jesus. Yes.
Does anybody recall seeing the woman on the plane with us?
I don't.
Not that I can recall.
No, I don't. I can't say that I could remember her.
Because the first time we saw her was after the interviews, I believe.
Right, when we were waiting to go through customs.
Yeah.
Yes, but to be
she
honest,
wasn't on the plane with us. Maybe she was another, like a legal, like one of the officers, maybe.
I don't think so.
It's
Well, I don't know. That would
that
explain a lot.
There were a number of people in the holding area with you, and you didn't necessarily recognize all of them from the plane.
Right. I didn't recognize half you. I mean, we had no reason to know each other before this.
Well, it makes sense that that the lady might actually be working for the government. She could be working for the Greek government, and she was there to check it out, since there's a lot of Greek citizens on there, and that would explain how she's getting through all the all the customs and stuff there. And through the officers, getting her way, as it were. I mean, I could buy that more than the Padre's idea of a witch there.
Except that it wasn't just the customs people. When the reporters tried to speak to her, she told them, "You don't want to speak to me." And they were like, "We don't want to speak to her."
Well, some
And
people
then
are persuasive.
And there was a long line to get on the taxis, and she just waltzed past them and got on the taxi, and nobody said anything. That was very strange.
I still think she's a witch. So whatever that's just my opinion, because it's weird that, yeah, like you said there, Father, that she just bypassed everything, and
Now,
the person with that ability.
there are some things I don't know. And at the time, I believe that Nigel suggested that this is what happens when you are a beautiful woman. You just can take advantage. He didn't put it in those terms. He said it in a far cruder manner, but one which I will not repeat.
Well, thank you. Well, at least you were listening to me, Padre. It's good to know
Yes,
that
I heard your terminology.
I'm a coarse man, Father.
But
Well, what's to say she wasn't flashing credentials and we just never caught it? I mean, all it takes is a good flash of credentials, and you can get your way in anything. I mean, that's how they do it on TV there with like the FBI guys and the G-men and stuff.
But how about the experience that poor Rod had, and the taxi driver? She may be something like I say, a witch. She may be an official of some sort and has the word clout. But in any case, I think that something happened to us in the air that is also causing something to happen on the ground, and people and children are being killed as a result. Something.
Hey, Mick, is there a time difference between Greece and England?
Yes, there is. I believe it's 1 hour.
Oh, not much. Okay.
And the flight is only 4 hours.
I'm going to contradict myself.
Yeah.
We boarded early in the morning?
It's 2 hours. There is a 2-hour time difference.
2-hour time change and a 4-hour flight.
Yeah, 2-hour time change and a 1 hour 55-minute flight. So
okay. Gotcha.
Technically, you arrive 5 minutes before you're there. But when you arrived, most of you, unless you specifically set your watch on the flight, you would have arrived with your watch on Athenian time.
And we arrived at the same time, only 3 weeks off.
Not exactly the same time, no.
Okay.
But your watches were still showing the time concordant with the time you left.
Well, we are down here. There are other people around us.
Well,
why don't we grab some of these people and ask them some questions?
I have an idea. It might sound weird, but is there any way we could have been drugged?
I don't remember being drugged.
Well, I mean, some of you fell asleep, had a brief nap on the plane. Some didn't. Some would have been awake while others were asleep.
I remember turbulence.
What I mean by drugged is that they release some kind of chemical, whether it is legal or not, that through the air ventilation, and that is a drug in the air. It's just something that I'm thinking may be a possibility.
You didn't feel like you'd been drugged in any way.
And we also didn't crash because the pilot and the co-pilot would have.
But maybe the pilot and co-pilot was separated or from the main cabin.
It's an interesting idea.
It's just an idea. I'm probably wrong, but it was just something to think about.
Well, shall we ask a few more people questions?
I say let's go to the South Pool.
Well, we're probably not going to do that at the moment, but what time is it? I forget.
It's getting on a bit now. It's about 7:30 in the evening.
Yeah.
How about in the morning?
Drinks, you know,
It's
making a
approaching
lap around the
dinner time.
bar, ask some questions, chat up some birds. You never know what'll happen.
Excuse me, ma'am. Could I ask you questions a moment, please? Were you? Yes, were you on flight 1743?
Yes, I was. Yes.
So you experienced a strange occurrence. Did you find anything very strange other than the time? Did you see
No. I
anything?
was just sitting in my chair reading my my book. It's a Harold Robbins book. And,
Harold Robbins.
it was a bit bumpy just as we were coming into land, but
Yeah, I do
other than that,
recall that.
there
Do
was
you?
there was I can't keep that up.
Okay.
There was nothing. I'll try. There was nothing untoward that I could hear.
Did you by chance see a rather lovely, beautiful woman with a green scarf on her head, not wearing a red dress?
Oh, I don't remember the woman. I think I remember the scarf. I think I remember saying to my friend Daphne that it was a lovely green jacquard silk scarf.
Hmm.
I do recall that. I don't remember much about the woman.
She had sunglasses, I believe. Though
You
she
see,
may not
I
have been.
wasn't really paying much attention. To be honest, I was I was quite overwhelmed by being brought into this big place and grilled, as the young people say.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, by the way,
You're very welcome.
Do you know what what seat you were in?
I think we were in row 23. I can't remember exactly. I think I was 23E.
Okay, 23E. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I must go. I need to get some cough sweets.
Was that anywhere near where we were sitting?
About half of you were roughly in that part of the plane, sort of 18 to 25. But you were all dotted around randomly in the plane. None of you were really sitting near each other.
I obviously was nowhere near that because I did not see the woman with the red green scarf.
Now, did we do spot hidden rolls or luck rolls to see who had seen the woman on the plane and who hadn't? Have we ascertained that yet? Just to kind of confirm whether she's a mass hallucination or what?
You can if you wish all do a retroactive spot hidden, a retrospective spot hidden, and
33. That's a pass.
I saw the heck out of her.
I saw the heck out of her too.
I may have even tried
six.
to chat her up.
I got an extreme, by the way.
oh well,
Yeah.
if you got an extreme or a hard, then I'll say that you do. Yeah, you sort of. You may have glimpsed her on the plane, or caught a sight of that headscarf.
So here's
Or
a
just
question, Mick.
go
Are
on to
any
somebody
of
who
the
was wearing something.
airline staff staying at this hotel? Pilots,
Not that you've seen,
stewardesses?
no.
Not yet? Okay.
No, I don't
You
think they would.
haven't seen any of the crew.
Okay.
You do kind of recall that the crew were very hurriedly rushed through the waiting area while you were all waiting to be seen for your interviews and taken off somewhere else, presumably to be interviewed.
Have there been any interviews in any of the papers? Have they interviewed the pilot? Have there been any interviews other than possibly us or anything like that?
Well, assuming that you've been keeping up with the papers, which we will assume that it will be natural for you to do.
I always have to see page 3. Come on now.
Oh dear. That's not really a newspaper. It's more of a sort of comic, a vulgar comic. For those of you who've read the actual papers, I would say the broadsheets. There have been interviews with one or two of the passengers. Lots of interviews with people from the airline itself. Interviews with people from the British Aviation Authority. The Minister for Transport.
But no interview with, say, the pilot or the co-pilot?
No, you can't find any interviews with the pilots or the cabin crew.
Well, I don't like this at all. I'm an old man. I'm retired. I've got nothing better to do with my time, and I don't like the idea that something that happened to us when we were in the air is now causing people to be hurt. Now, I am for taking the dog and going down there and finding out what's going on here. I'll close up shop and I will go down to Salisbury Plain and I'll figure out what's going on here. This is not cricket.
Nigel, I'm sorry, but please don't. It's happened. What happened happened. Just chill. Don't get angry about this.
And please stop cursing.
It's just not right. It's not right. I think that we, as people, we should be willing to do something to help. And I think going down there, like the lieutenant, the captain, the sergeant said, I think that's a great idea. I am for it.
Well, how about in the morning?
I will get Winston ready.
Anyone else that want to go tomorrow morning? We'll just, have a couple of beers tonight at this fine pub. And then in the morning, let's go out and see exactly what this woman in the green scarf is up to.
I will see if I can get permission, and I will meet you here in the morning. Here? Yes? Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. Works fine for me.
I think that's the right thing to do, Father.
This is all crazy and stuff, and I don't know if I buy most of it. I mean, he seems kind of running out on fool's errands and stuff. But
it's a nice area of the country. Maybe we go see Stonehenge.
Sure, I could go for checking out Stonehenge. Yeah, I suppose. I mean, what the heck? I mean, what else am I going to do? I mean, sit around, maybe go round alone. Heck, why not? I'm in on it. Crazy as it all sounds, I'm in on it.
I'm in for a trip to Lower Pilford. Beautiful set of countryside, and looking forward to getting this mess cleared up sooner rather than later.
I just think it's the right thing to do, boys. Right thing to do.
So I'm going to leave, and I'll be back. I'll see you in the morning. Enjoy your drinking.
Good night, Padre. Have a good night.
Yeah, night there, Father. Let's go get a couple of drinks there, guys.
Well, it's a reasonably well-stocked bar. I mean, it's not like, a high-end hotel. There's no creme de violette or anything, and only 3 or 4 malts. But it's perfectly all right. A rather drunken old man with in a blazer and a regimental tie, sort of half collapsed at the bar, which I think is a standard of all London hotel bars.
Nick, while we're drinking, I'm going to go ahead and start, taking some of those questions that the Padre was asking to that lady, and just kind of casually in conversation, go to random people and, throw them into conversation, see if I can fish some information out.
Okay. I won't make you roll for that because there's quite a few people in there who were on the plane, and for the most part they're every bit as confused as you are. Of the people you talk to, most of them just come out and say they haven't got a clue what happened. They didn't notice anything odd about the flight at all. But one or two of them have concocted rather outlandish theories about what went on. And
I'm also going to kind of throw in some questions about the interviewing, and if they notice any kind of thing odd with their interviews, and throw that into the mix as well.
Yeah, one chap does mention that he recalls seeing video cameras there, which he thought was odd. And the man next to him says, "Oh, you're right. There were cameras there, but I mean, it's an airport, isn't it? You expect that." But some of them picked up on quite odd things that don't seem to have anything to do with the whole thing. One woman seems obsessed by the fact that both of the policemen had moustaches, and you don't really see moustaches these days very much. Why would they both have moustaches? It seems rather unlikely, and segues to some sort of bizarre conspiracy theory, which is almost impossible to follow. She seems like she may have been she may have started early at the bar.
What about some of the other theories? What else are we hearing?
Well, there are a variety of theories. Obviously, quite a lot of people think that it was aliens, UFOs. There's Mr. Nielsen will be pleased to know that there's several people who support the drugging hypothesis, and there's one chap who maintains that it was definitely a wormhole, because of that episode of Star Trek when the Enterprise goes through one.
Oh,
And he reckons you're all in a parallel universe and you're going to meet yourselves at some point.
But do we all have goatees?
No.
Because we know that our evil selves will all be wearing goatees.
So far, no one has mysteriously grown a goatee over the course of flight. Although one of the old ladies does seem suspiciously hairy.
All right, my boys, I am calling it a night. I'm taking my dog. I'm going home, packing, and I will be back here bright and early to get this stuff done.
Before calling it a night, I'm going to go ahead and kind of schmooze around again and throw out another thing. See if we can get some information from various people. Has the government or the airport authority contacted you again to give me an update on what's happening? I haven't heard anything back, and it's been a while. It's been at least a day.
No one seems to have been directly connected by them. Correct.
Interesting.
There was a press statement given out, but there's been no contact with the passengers.
For everybody,
As a foreign national, you find this very suspicious and rather lax and disappointing. But
Yeah.
The British members of the party just sort of expect it.
well, I'm gonna, before everyone turns in for the night, I'm gonna pass my my observations and inquiries on to everyone and get their input.
I'm just gonna go have a couple of beers, and then I'm going to go in for the night.
Okay.
I think we have a plan.
Okay. Well, if no one else wants to do anything, then we'll skip ahead to the morning, I think. Where
It was not easy to obtain permission, but I've got permission. So
yeah, forward to the morning, and you're all refreshed and fortified by your fragrant eggs and bee, and ready for the fray. Now, as regards transportation, how are you proposing to get?
well, I can once again use the services of Andrew and the van.
Oh yes, the church minibus.
How many hours did you say is the drive?
About 2.5 hours.
Okay.
At a reasonable pace. Not going too
That is
fast.
not so bad. All right. So, do one of you want to drive? You can drive the van. Andrew doesn't want to come.
I'm going to assume that you've all got your international driving licenses because you've been on holiday.
I'll get up in there. I'll drive. I'm good to go.
Well, you've got a proper driving license.
I do. Very proper.
Driving license. You've got this one, the proper old pink one. No, that'll be a green one.
We can look forward to if there's anybody who gives us trouble along the road that Nigel can scream profanities at him.
You said that like it's a bad thing, Father. It's just part
No.
of It's just part of driving in England.
There's nothing at all wrong with profanities. They are situation acceptable words.
That's right. Swearing was invented for a reason.
Of course, it's creative use of the language. Believe me, we have a lot of swear words in Greek.
So it's a pleasant enough Friday morning, and you set off driving west towards Salisbury, and then onwards. It's a nice enough drive. The urban sprawl gives way to the monotony of British A roads. They all look the same. It's a lot of wheat fields, hills, the occasional garden centre, and don't see many towns, just turn-offs to the towns. And really, I think we can really skip ahead. Nothing
Okay.
nothing of interest is going to happen while you're driving on a British A road. You know, you might play some sort of amusing travel game involving number plates
20
or I
bottles of beer
Spy.
on the wall, 20 bottles of beer. You take one down, pass it around.
We can play Punch Buggy.
We can sing, oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine.
Only if you can sing it in Greek, Padre.
Ah, no, I'm not going
Oh,
to try.
good.
But you know that you can sing that song to Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine, you are lost and gone forever, dreadful sorry Clementine. It fits perfectly. All right, so we arrive in, I keep wanting to say Pontypool, Lower Pulford.
Lower Pulford, yes. You arrive, it's just after lunchtime when you arrive in Lower Pulford. You've made a few stops at the service stations on the way, and possibly even had a spot of lunch in the Little Chef just before you got there.
We need to keep our eyes open for the woman.
It's about equidistant between Salisbury and Bristol, and there's just a slip road from the main A road, and quite shortly you find yourself approaching Lower Pulford. In fact, the first thing you know of Lower Pulford comes in the form of a police checkpoint. There are two uniformed officers are stopping cars at T-junction. There's a road going off to your right, and it seems to be quite perfunctory. I mean, they stop the car and ask you to wind down the window.
And I do so.
Afternoon, sir. Can I ask where you're heading?
Hello, my good officer. We're going to Lower Pulford.
Oh yes, sir. May I ask why you're heading to Pulford?
I am a Greek Orthodox priest, and I have a parishioner who lives there who requires me to come and bless his home. It is something we do in the church a lot. Yes?
Oh, I see. Okay. He looks at the side of the minibus, which is
Yes.
emblazoned with the
Yes, St.
name of your
Hieronymus
church.
Church.
And I'm not going to try and pronounce that, sir.
That's okay. I think in English you would say Jerome.
And you're just here for the day, are you?
Yes, sir. Yes, we are here just for the day.
Okay. Take down your number there. He moves around to the other side of the car and checks your tax disc. And that all looks in order. Can I just have a quick look at your license, please, sir?
Of course. Oh, it's not Nigel, my driver.
I get it. I fumble through my wallet and I give him my, senior citizens discount card. I give him my AAA card. I give him my St. Swithin's of Bernadette's thing card, and then I finally find my driver's license.
Okay, sir, that seems in order. Mr. Barthington. Barthington N. Makes a note of your date of birth. Right, well, I won't keep you any longer. You'll find Lower Pulford is just a little way down. There's a road on the left leads down to the village. It's adequately signposted. I'll just for the purposes of I've forgotten the word I wanted now. Early onset dementia is what that is. That's not him saying that. That's me. Just to clarify, none of you were members of the press.
Oh no.
It's just that we've had some events recently, and tempers are a little frayed in the village. There has been some bad news recently, and
Oh yes, we read about this in the newspaper. That's very distressing.
we'd appreciate it if you didn't rile up the locals. People aren't. I'm sure you can appreciate people aren't very happy about.
Well, I bet if somebody needed comforting, the Padre would be glad to talk to them and listen to them and lend a sympathetic ear. That's what the church does.
Well, I don't
probably,
think you'll.
Probably not
find
going
much
to be here
cause for
long.
that. No, people around here they tend to deal with things like that themselves.
We won't get in anybody's hair, as they say.
Very good, sir. Right. If you'll give me just a quick moment, and I'll be right back. If you could just turn your engine off and wait there for a second.
Of course, take your time.
He goes back to his car and picks up the radio. And I mean, you can see that he's using the radio. You can't overhear anything.
Mm-hmm.
Then about 5 minutes later, he returns, and so yeah, that's all in order, sir.
Thank you.
On your way.
Thank you very much.
Mick, did he have a mustache?
Pardon?
Did he have a mustache?
No, he had a light stubble.
Okay.
What's his name, Brian?
So
he was PC 401.
As soon as we pull away, I look back at everybody and I say, "You see, the Metropolitan is right. I'm a polished liar. I will have to go to confession now.
You better find a house to bless, Padre. That's what you better do.
I will say prayers for everybody in the town. They just won't know it.
They'll take a while.
It's not necessary for them to know." So where were we? Was it 19 bottles of beer that were left in the song? I don't think we will make it to 0. So we continue on.
You continue on, and shortly afterwards you reach Lower Pulford. Now, those of you expecting a quaint and picturesque English village are somewhat disappointed. A lot of the buildings seem to be 1930s. Not pleasant 1930s Art Deco, very sort of utilitarian, uninspiring red brick buildings from the 1930s, particularly the church. The church is very disappointing. Other than that, there's a couple of shops. What you take to be a school. Rather shabby looking late Victorian probably building that seems to be the library, and a variety of houses of various states. Oh, and of course the pub, obviously the pub. There's a village green. It's not really big enough for cricket, and just looks really like somewhere that people take their dogs for a poo. There's a phone box.
So as we're driving around, I think we should be looking for the woman with the green scarf or the sunglasses. Maybe she took the scarf off. Because I don't know what else we're looking for here. Maybe we'll see her. If she is, as I say, maybe an investigator of some sort, then we will see her investigating.
Maybe go to where, I know we're not pressed, but maybe go to where these murders has happened.
As long as we don't walk on people's toes.
I wasn't expecting the checkpoint. It just reminded me right up front that we're in a sensitive situation with two children being murdered.
This is true.
Yeah, we have to be very careful and sensitive of that, I think.
It's probably an ongoing investigation there, and I wouldn't doubt we see more of the policemen along the way.
Question for the GM.
Yeah.
Is this the size and or kind of town where everybody knows everybody? If I were to say, for instance, to a shopkeeper, I'm here to bless the house of Mrs. Anathopoulos, would they say, there's nobody by that name in this town? Or would they say, oh, maybe she lives over there and we just don't know?
Oh, there's at most, at a very liberal estimate, a couple of dozen houses, and that would include outlying farms and things. So it's not a big place.
That kind of a lie would not work.
It has very much the feel of a small insular community. That much is apparent from first sight. That's very obvious.
All right, I'm gonna stop into the pub and just kind of ask around and see if anybody has seen the woman. Certainly, she would stick out if she's been here.
That is a capital idea.
You know, looking at the map, we have to also be careful of something else. There is no pass-through in this town. So if you say to somebody, oh, we're just passing through, there is no road passing through this town. The road goes to the town, and that's it. There are a couple of farms.
We're pretty close to Stonehenge, right? So, we could say we were meeting a friend, and we decided to meet up in this town, and has she been around, kind of thing.
Well, Stonehenge is quite some distance to the east.
Yeah,
okay.
Still another 2 hours.
So that wouldn't make any sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a long way. It's about 3/4 of an hour.
Okay.
To the east. You may even have possibly even come past it on the way here.
It's just that there's no point in going through this town. We have to come up with a really good excuse.
No, the town is very much on a slip road from the main road.
Looks like there's a train track parallel to the road that's coming in.
There's a train track to the east.
To the west.
There's a train track to the west, and you can just make out the points at which it rises over a couple of viaducts. Yeah. Tunnels.
We are looking for a friend of a friend who is visiting a friend here. We don't know who that friend is, but we would recognize our friend.
So you've gone in the pub. You're in the pub.
Yes.
Now.
Yes, definitely. I'm parched after all that driving.
We walk up to a woman with a green scarf and say, have you seen the woman with the green scarf?
Eureka!
And then she
Someone
says,
that looks just like you.
then she says, you all want to go back to London.
Well,
Game over.
you said
Yeah.
there's a pub, right?
You're breaking up,
Oh,
Corey.
sorry, I didn't hear a word of that, Corey.
He says, exterminate, exterminate.
Is that better?
Not much. A little
No,
bit.
that's still breaking up quite a lot.
So we're in the pub.
There is a barman. Well, the landlord of the pub is looking at you quite apprehensively.
Well, I just march up and I order a pint.
He
That
pulls
should
a
make him
pint-
unapprehensive.
He pulls a pint and plonks it before you
All right.
with a plonk.
I'll do the same.
Who
That
doesn't
sounds
like
good.
a good walk every once in a while?
Since we're here anyway, might as well order a beer. Oh,
Yep,
one for
same
me
here.
too, mate.
Yes, they just, without even asking you what you want, you say a beer. He just gives you a pint of the local beer.
Okay. Hope that's better.
Spruttock's old
Yes, better.
badger or something.
Are we the only ones in the pub, Mick?
No, there's a few people in here. The majority look like locals. There's a group of quite rowdy, slightly better dressed people, with more sort of London accents. 3 or 4 people, well, 3 people, sitting at a table over by the window. It's quite a modern pub. It's what might be called an estate pub. It's, again, like most things in the village, quite a modern red brick building. And got a jukebox that's playing something horrendous from the top 40. It's 1987. It's probably playing some sort of
Probably got. It's actually probably
horrific
pretty good.
Block Aiken and Waterman pop tune that's instantly forgettable.
Let's get something by that nice boy Cliff Richard on the old jukebox. So the people, the Londoners, when we came in the pub, did we see anything like a television van or anything obtrusive like that? Do we think they might be press?
Well, there's a few newer cars parked outside. Most of the cars parked outside are old vans and farm vehicles. A couple of Land Rovers, a few pickups.
Well, I'm going to take Winston by the leash and my pint, and I'm going to walk over to their table.
Okie dokie.
Is it all gentlemen, ladies, gentlemen, mix?
It's 3 middle-aged men.
Right. I'm just going to sidle up and hello there, gents.
Afternoon.
We're from out of town, and you look like you're from out of town, so I thought I would come over and we could be from out of town together at this pub. What do you say?
Yeah. What are you down here covering the disappearances? Are you?
Oh, no. I'm with the group over there. We're from a church, and we're here to bless a house, and we just don't know anybody, and nobody likes drinking alone, and you sounded like you might be from the big town, so I thought I would come and introduce myself. Nigel Bathington, and this is Winston.
Oh, hello. There's a nice little doggy.
He is.
I didn't know. I didn't know God botherers went in pubs.
Now, you say you gents say that you're down here covering that awful row that happened with the kids?
Well, yeah, that and the rest of it, yeah.
Oh, terrible stuff. I'm not too up on it, but what can you I'll certainly, I'm sure I'll read it tomorrow morning, but couldn't you just what have you found? It just sounds awful.
Well, I mean, like you say, it's all in the papers, but he looks at the other two and says, well, but I mean, at the moment, yeah, it's not, the locals don't like anyone talking about it, but there have been, well, they think it's some sort of animal because livestock's been attacked over the last few days.
That's what I heard. They think it's like an ape or a bear or something like that.
Some woman's dog went missing, and a few cats. Then they found 3 or 4 sheep dead, just sort of ripped to pieces. And a horse got ripped up.
Now, was this after the kids, or was this before the kids?
Well, the horse was yesterday morning.
God, what is
So I
going
mean,
on around
it's either a wild animal or it's a proper loony. If it's like a person who did it, there, someone really nuts, mate.
Saints preserve us.
I mean, to be honest with you, we've just been talking about it now, but with the way things are going with it, I mean, I don't think any of us have much. I don't even think the locals have much faith in the police.
Well,
I wouldn't rely on the police around here to keep us safe.
Well, they do a pretty nice barricade as they stopped us when we came in. I mean, you think
they've still got that up, have they? Yeah, well, that's
you think they have better things to do. They don't need to be stopping good people out on the A1 or whatever. They've
had a lot of rubberneckers, and it's stirring up the locals.
That's awful.
It's a small village. Most of them, like, they know the families of the people who lost the kids.
Right.
And the last thing they want is people coming down there taking photographs, and everyone's got a theory.
Right.
I know there's a fucking psychic the other day came down here, and she really wound people up. I mean, luckily the police got rid of her, but some silly old woman said she could. Don't even. Just a nutter. More nutters.
How long have y'all been down here covering this?
I've been down here for about a week.
That's awful.
I think Paul got here first. Paul's been down here a fortnight.
That's awful. Well, I'm sure you're going to do a great job. Thanks for taking the time. Next time y'all want a pint, you come grab me. It's on me. We'll take good care of you. Thanks for doing your job. And thanks for being here.
Really, mate, I wouldn't stick around too long here. It's they don't like strangers around here.
Well, did they let you know? In no uncertain terms, I guess.
It's just not a very friendly. Well, I mean, I wouldn't even say unfriendly. It's just that they don't. They've got other things on their mind. They don't want to be bothered by all this. They're not. I don't know. It's just not. It doesn't seem right, this one. Seems like we're just intruding on people's grief this time. I mean, normally, as a reporter, I've got quite hardened to things like that over the years. But this case, I mean, like, every single person in this village knew those kids and don't like us being there, and they're taking it very personally. And I just think, like, we've overstayed our welcome, to be honest with you. But
what about the local padre? How's he doing? Have you met him yet? He's probably good for right now.
Yeah, he seems. I mean, he's got his hands full counselling people, I think.
Right.
He's been spending a lot of time with the families of the people who lost the kids. I know that much. He won't talk to us. I mean, he's not been unpleasant, but he just doesn't want to talk to the press. which is most of them. I mean, that's why we're sitting here. That's why we're sitting here drinking. Because I mean, unless anything else, I know it sounds like a horrible thing to say, but unless anything else happens, we've got nothing to do beyond sitting in the pub. The police won't talk to us. The locals won't talk to us. I mean, we could, for what all we're doing here. I mean, we could just
You're
be
just doing your job. This is the fourth estate.
We could be sitting somewhere nice in London, waiting for the local police here to issue a press release and do exactly what we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no reason for us to be here. Feels like we're taking a piss. But until then, the expense account is paying for the drinks, so fuck it. We'll hang around and make the most of it.
Have they started going out yet and doing searches for this monster?
All the time, day and night. They've been going out with the the lamps, the lamps and the.
You expect them to go out with pitchforks and torches, right? Right?
No, they're going out with the lamps. I know that a couple of the farmers have been driving around with rifles. I think the locals there's all this talk of like a gorilla or something. I don't know what that is, and some of the locals think it's a big cat like the Beast of Bodmin.
Oh, it's the Hound of the Baskervilles next, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, even once you start talking about like big cats and weird animals, then you get the people down who are interested in that, and they want to come and find the animal and catch it, and it's turning into a circus. It really is.
They all think they're Marlon Perkins from the Cincinnati Zoo or something, and Wild Kingdom, and Jack Hanna or something. Oh, awful mess here. Awful mess.
Johnny Morris, yeah. All budding Johnny Morrises. Still, needs must when the devil drives, I suppose.
Well, thanks for taking the time, gents. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, whatever. Just go carefully.
Absolutely.
Just try not to piss them off. They're on tender hooks as it is.
Right. Duly noted. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So what did they say? Did they see the woman?
Oh, I didn't ask them about the woman. I just wanted to find out what they were doing here. They're newspaper reporters. I mean, it's a lady in a green scarf.
Yeah.
That's the entire reason we came out here.
I was just about to say that there, Father. That was the only reason why we came out here to find this lady. Exactly what.
You're not mute. Go over there and talk to them. You got the gun.
I've got a gun.
He's an air marshal. He's not allowed to carry a gun.
You don't know that.
Oh, it sounds like it's a bad thing, Padre. Bad thing around here.
Well, I can't exactly go over there and speak to them. Look at me. I'm the priest.
Well, why would I even mention the lady in the green scarf? We're passing through. We're here to bless a house. How do you tie those two together?
Oh my goodness, that was a lie that I made up to get past the police. We are not here to bless anybody's house. We don't know anybody in the whole town.
I know, that's just it.
Oh,
if I say I'm going to bless somebody's house and I say, "Oh, who?" They know everybody in the town.
Exactly.
I say, Mrs.
What are you? Yeah.
Take that lie and put it to the side. Just ask, hey, have you seen this woman?
Mrs. Nahuza, the Greek lady.
Yeah, Mrs.
You could say that you're here. You could say that we're here.
Papadopoulos.
I mean, we could keep on with the lie and say that he read about it in the paper and he's here to bless the houses of the children that were murdered, although they may not like that very much.
Yes, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Maybe I
it
should
doesn't
have
sound like
dressed
these
in.
people are going to like anything to do with any outsiders at this time.
It would have been, it would have been prudent, perhaps, for me to dress in civilian clothes, but I'm really not supposed to.
Come on there, Father. Could you not take one day off and wear regular civilian clothes there?
No.
Well, black is very slimming. Yes, yeah.
It is our tradition. We always wear this. Are there other people in the bar?
Yes, there's half a dozen locals.
Why don't a few of you ask around, see if they've seen the woman with the green scarf? We don't have a picture of her, but did you say, Nigel, that they mentioned something about a psychic woman?
Right. They said there was some psychic that came down and said that
Maybe
she
that's
was
her.
going to try and help find the kids or find this monster. They pretty much just laughed it off.
Yes, but that's exactly the kind of person we might be looking for.
There we go.
Once
Okay.
again, I am not in a position to. It would take me 15 minutes to explain that I am a Greek Orthodox priest.
All right, I guess I'll reach out to the bartender and just kind of flag him down and say, "Oi, barman, a quick conversation if we could."
Yeah, what do you want?
I'm sure you see a number of folks coming through the town. Just curious if any striking-looking Greek woman came through.
Greek? I wouldn't know. I haven't left the pub in days, mate. There's been loads of people coming to. Wouldn't sound like that. He's from the West Country. I haven't left the country. I haven't left the pub in days, mate.
Well, totally understand. I just curious. My friends and I here looking for a friend of ours. She's a Greek woman. Figure she might have stopped in, said hello, grabbed a pint, something like that.
Not in here. Not in here. She hasn't. I mean, we've had all sorts in here, in and out, all week. We are. We've had reporters and just people coming down wanting to take photographs and all sorts. People are fed up with it. I mean, it's good money. They're coming in, they're buying things. They're all getting a ploughman's and that. But they need to leave people to their grief, mate. Take right.
No, I'll certainly understand and appreciate your time. And just checking in real quick.
Yeah.
And I'll basically turn back to the group and say, doesn't sound like she's been through here.
Well, guys, I'm going to go and go outside for a bit and smoke my pipe for a little while. You guys, I'll be right back.
I will go get some fresh air with him.
Okay.
So I go outside with Cam.
What's the rest of you going to do?
You know what? I will basically go up to those people that Mr. Nigel talked to, and I'm gonna say, good evening or good afternoon, gents. I was wondering if I could buy you a couple of pints.
Yeah, if you want.
I also have a few questions.
Yeah, I thought you might.
My friend that you were just talking to a couple of minutes ago mentioned that you noticed a psychic in town. I was wondering if you knew anything more about where she was staying.
You're talking to the reporters again.
Yeah.
Oh right, okay. Different accent.
Yeah,
Psychic.
Yeah.
Yeah, some batty old woman from Torbay or something.
Did she happen to have an? Did you
No,
happen to
no,
get her
no,
name?
no. One of the others chirps in. No, it was Totnes, mate. Totnes. Oh, Totnes.
Totnes.
No, no. Down there, full of hippies.
Okay. Well, also.
Yogurt weavers.
Okay. I basically said that's useful information, but did you happen to get a name from this psychic lady that you seen in town?
I did better than that. Look, I've got a card as well.
Oh, really?
He
do you happen to...
He produces that.
Well, thank you so much, guys. That's been really helpful.
Yeah,
And
write it down on the back of the beer mat.
And I basically say, I'll go get you your guys' pints of beer right away. And I take the card and I walk away and I talk to the bartender and said if you can get 2 big pints for these, or how many there are for these.
There are 3 of them.
Yes, can I get 3 pints for those reporters over there, their bartender.
I'm not taking them. I'm not taking them over there.
I'll take them over. Just put it on my tab.
Bloody pay now, mate.
What?
You're not in bloody London now.
Okay.
Cash on the barrelhead.
I had him some pounds, and then
That's right. Some pounds.
How much?
You are to change some pence.
How much?
That's £3.15.
Okay, I had him £3.50.
So, what did he give you?
I give them the card of the lady.
What's the name on the card?
It says Madame Orloff, psychic extraordinaire. There is an address in Totnes, a phone number, and on the it's quite a tacky looking card actually.
What did they say?
On the back of it, it says my fees are very reasonable.
Okay. What did they say? What she looked like?
No, he just said she was a beautiful woman in a green scarf.
Excuse me, gentlemen. I'm sorry to interrupt. What did this psychic woman, look like?
The psychic? Oh, just some batty old dear.
She was old.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ancient.
I'll
tell you what she looked like. Actually, one of them, one of the other ones chirps in, and so I'll tell you who she looked like. She looked like, what was that woman in the old film? Margaret Rutherford. She looked like Margaret Rutherford.
Margaret.
That's what she looked like.
You haven't by chance seen a very beautiful woman walking about town, maybe with a green scarf on her head?
No, I haven't. No. What about you two? And then one of them said, "Oh, yeah, I think I did. Yeah, there was a woman yesterday. I noticed the car more than the woman because it was like quite a new car, and that sticks out around here because it's all old bangers and old farm cars and things."
Could you tell by her what she was doing?
No, she just drove through. I think she did have a headscarf on and sunglasses.
Yes,
like an Italian film star.
Yes. Greek is probably what she is.
Yeah.
And what street was this that you saw?
Um, dear, oh dear. Now you're asking.
Was the main street in the town?
Yeah, well, I mean, she went through. I guess about. Oh, I don't know. About 2 o'clock, and then she came back about 20 past. But I mean, the road up there that she went up. There's just like some farm up there.
Oh, yes, there's a
It just
couple
it
of
just,
them.
it just goes up to a farm, and that's it. There's nothing else.
So is it the one that goes on the north side of town?
No, it goes up there out to the west. It goes under the railway bridge,
Ah.
and then there's just a farm. And I haven't been up there, to be honest.
Yes, thank you very much for
I
your
mean, we
assistance.
haven't left the village.
Yes, thank you very much for your assistance.
I mean, we went down the pool where the you know.
Well, now we have some interesting information. Because I took the map from the mud.
Okay, Mick.
Yes.
Yes, outside. Lighting up the pipe, having a smoke, looking around. Do I see any locals out and about? Especially locals that may be like struggling with a project, like handyman building sort of thing, or having a problem with their car, or kind of looking like they need a little help.
You don't, as a matter of fact. I mean, you're struck by the fact that it's quite a nice day. It's the school holidays, and there's no one about. There's no kids playing. There's no dogs wandering around. No one walking a dog. There's a couple of cars parked outside what appears to be the village shop.
I'm gonna wander over to the shop. Just kind of if it's open, just kind of casually come in and look around.
Well, by the looks of it, from what you can tell, there are two shops around the corner from the pub.
Okay.
And one is like a general store, and the other one looks to be more like a village post office.
Go to the general store. It's kind of that's my affair. I run essentially a general store of sorts.
It's one of the older buildings in the village. It's quite a quaint looking shop from outside. It's a bit less so inside. It looks like it was last decorated sometime in the 70s.
Okay.
And, when you get inside, there are 3 people in there. There's a middle-aged man who appears to be the shopkeeper, and 2 elderly women.
Okay.
And,
they seem to be talking with one another, or are they just kind of minding all their own businesses?
They seem to have been talking to each other. You could hear them talking to each other as you opened the door, but almost at the instant that the bell dings on the door, their conversation abruptly stops, and they turn around and look at you.
Okay. Smile and wave. Hello.
The shopkeeper says, "Afternoon."
Hi.
And the two old ladies just sort of stare at you.
Just kind of look around. How you doing today, sir?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
Good. This is my first time, I guess you could say, out in the English countryside. I'm helping my friend the Padre out here, and Just kind of curious, just looking around. I'm a shopkeeper myself, and I'm just kind of curious how you all do business out here and stuff.
Yeah,
If you
we
don't
get
mind.
by all right.
Good. That sounds good. Yeah, just if you don't mind, I'd like to look around a little bit.
But it's a shop, that's what it's for.
All right. Sounds good.
And kind
Just,
of just on the edge of your on the periphery of your hearing, you hear the two old women mumble something at each other. You can't tell what they say. It doesn't sound very complimentary.
and smile, nod to them while I'm looking. Just put on that Midwestern charm.
The man continues to watch you very closely, as though he's definitely concerned that you might try and steal something.
Okay, no problem. Just have a look about and reminds me of my shop back home in Michigan. There, got a good establishment, sir.
Hmm.
Yeah. By the way, I'm Cam Fletcher. I'm just like I said, I'm visiting. It's my first time in England here, and it's been quite an interesting experience. I'm just kind of curious, looking about while I'm
Anything
on
in particular
Padre.
you're looking for, sir?
Oh, just I'm just kind of curious what kind of things you have that are pretty unique here. Just looking at the different, just want to look at different products, different things. I mean, lots of similarities, but I've noticed that British shops tend to have things that are very unique to the country, and just unique takes on stuff. And
Well,
like I said, I'm a shopkeeper myself.
We got some honey there from the hippies, the up at Thompson's farm.
Okay.
He gestures at some jars of honey that look slightly dusty, like they might have been there for quite some while, which seem to bear a logo that says Temple of Light and Truth Honey.
Temple of Light and
100% natural. Yes.
Well, that's quite a
natural.
I kind of look at it, not touching the thing, but just kind of looking at it, going, that's quite a label there. Temple of Light and Truth.
Oh yeah, just hippies, isn't it?
Hippies, huh?
Yeah.
I got a bit of them over there where I live, but they tend to be more about the nature and stuff rather than messing around with temples and stuff. That's kind of interesting.
Oh, it's just what they call themselves. They're just, I don't know. They're all like, farming and all that. They get on. They don't cause no trouble.
Oh, that's good.
They don't donate a lot to the Harvest Festival.
That's great. That's great to hear. So you guys have festivals out here on occasion, huh?
Used to.
Really? What stopped them?
Well, they just.
I don't mean to be nosy or anything. It just.
Well, since they put the big road through, we don't get much passing trade.
Okay.
We're not really fitted out for it. I mean, we've got what the locals need, and that's about it.
I got it.
He sort of looks uneasily across to the old women, as though you don't need to make a psychology roll to know that he rather resents talking to you.
Well, it seems like quite a bit of. I'm surprised. Just seems like quite a bit of hubbub around here and stuff. The Padre mentioned something in the paper about some kind of incident. I didn't quite get all the details on it, but it seems something happened to bring the police, and we ran into a police barricade up there. It's quite unusual.
Yeah, it's not the best of times.
No, I'm very sorry to hear that.
What brings you here then? Why what are you
Oh,
doing
like
here?
I said, I've helped out my friend the Padre here. I think he's here to take care of some kind of church business. I don't know. He's a friend of mine. He said, "Hey, I'm going out to the country. I want to come with, show you around, and I couldn't pass up the opportunity. I thought I'd come out and check it out."
Church business? What he's got business with the Reverend Thompson, is he?
It's beyond me. I didn't pry on that. I mean, when he says business, it's his business. I mean, we're in two totally different kinds of business, but we're friends, and he gave me an opportunity to come out, so I thought I'd come check it out. I mean, this is all new to me. This whole just the country and everything, and just thought I'd kind of get an idea of how things are out here and stuff. Kind of get a feel of things, just
Glancing over at the two old ladies, you notice that the grumbling intensifies.
Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time here with everything going on. Just like I said, I'm just curious and such. It's pretty, I hate to see everybody in such bad spirits and stuff. I mean, but I can understand.
Yeah,
I mean, incidents and all that.
We deal with it.
I do hope it comes to a good resolution there. I mean, and things get back to a good level, as it were.
I don't think it'll ever be the same after this, mate, to be honest.
Well, not to pry, but what happened? I mean, what's got everybody in such poor spirits? All the while keeping a smile and kind of a positive attitude, but not overly positive, but with a little concern there with my voice.
Yeah, there's been a murder.
Oh no, that's dreadful.
2 little boys from up the road.
Oh no. Oh no. What do y'all figure is going on with it here? I mean, this doesn't seem like the kind of place where dreadful things like that would happen.
We don't know. We don't know what's going on.
Oh. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, dear goodness. Oh. Yeah, I can see why things won't be the same here. I'm terribly sorry to hear about that. I'm sorry for you all. I mean, it must be very, very terrible.
Well, it's been all over the papers.
Yeah. Well, I haven't had a chance to really read much of the papers and stuff while I've been here. I've been essentially sightseeing and looking about. Is this kind of? I mean, like I said, it doesn't seem like the kind of thing for this area. I mean, do these things happen often, or any kind of other odd things? I mean, I don't mean to pry, but I mean, it just seems.
Nothing like this.
Nothing like this
has ever happened.
Oh wow!
We're not the luckiest community, but we've never had anything like this.
Yeah. By the way, you mentioned a reverend here, the local priest here for the town.
Reverend Thompson.
Yeah. Is he at the church, or does he have like his own residence?
It's the house next to the church.
Well, I'll be sure to
be in the church, or if he's not there, he'll be in the village hall.
Well, I'll be sure to pay my respects there and such. I mean, I know I'm only a tourist, but I mean, it's just saddening to see this sort of thing happen. I don't know what to say. I mean, this is amazing. Oh. Well, in any case, sir, I wish you all a good day, ladies. I wish you all a good day. like I said, I don't mean to pry or anything, but man, my condolences on the situation. I know this must be tough for everybody here. You all have a good day. Take care. Take care of yourselves. I politely nod and walk out.
So are we all still in the pub, or are we going to leave the pub?
Yeah, I think we need
the rest
to.
of you, we're all in the pub, yes.
I think we all just need to meet back up outside and put together a game plan, investigate the lead at Quarry Farm, maybe go chat with the Reverend and see if there's anybody else to be a little bit more direct with.
Well, we know it's the farm the street that went over the bridge, right? We don't know it's the Quarry Farm. We know that because we saw it.
There's only one that goes across the railroad tracks.
Right, but we don't know the name of the family.
Oh, but we saw the map.
But was it marked on the map?
It was marked on my map.
But I didn't know if that was for the GM or if that was the actual map.
It's an ordnance survey map. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, go into any shop and buy exactly the same map.
But does it actually say Quarry Farm?
It says that on the farm, on the
right,
map.
cool.
Yes,
All right.
on the map.
Then
I like the name of that farm.
Um,
I'm going to come back to the group and say, gentlemen, can I have a quiet word with you all here?
yes, we're all here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took some time to poke my nose around the general store over there. They're pretty on edge here in the town with the murders and everything going on, and this is not a very common thing. I mean, this is something that's never happened around here. Everybody seems to be very, very off about it. But I found some interesting things with what little I could come about. I think I broke a little bit of ice there. I might go back there after a while, depending on how things go in our snooping around. But I found some interesting stuff. In addition to all this stuff going on, there's a local group of what they call hippies here that I'm familiar with here. Most hippies I know are like all into the peace and love and the reefer and that sort of thing. These hippies kind of strike me as more, what do you call it? What do they call it? New Age? You know, those guys who are like trying to be
A cult.
kind of going into alternative religions. Well, I guess you could put it that way. Yeah, Father. They've been selling produce, specifically honey, through the general store here. I guess, working with local trade. But I noticed that their produce, the honey specifically, nobody's been touching it or buying it. It just seems to be sitting on the shelf and been on the shelf for a while, which kind of gives me an indication that while they kind of let them be, they're not really trusted. The store owner said that there's nothing wrong with them or anything, but I'm getting the impression that they may be an interesting factor around here to look into.
Could it just,
especially with considering that the town does not seem too keen on buying their wares.
Did you get a location?
Yes, I got to get a general location where they're at. A bit of a commune, I guess, or such, and I give them the general location. It's a general location. I didn't pry for any kind of specifics, but I kind of got an idea that I might be able to.
What is this cult called?
Player doesn't remember offhand, but I give the name of it.
Temple of Light and Truth was one.
Yeah, the Temple of Light and Truth.
Yes, it sounds like a cult.
Well, I don't know much about this cult stuff, or anything, but they don't, like I said, they don't seem like hippies. I mean, hippies aren't into kind of temples or anything like that. At least not the ones around where I live.
So
Well,
we've got-
hippie is just a general term for.
That's what I gathered there, Padre.
so we've got 3 or 4 options then. Can go to Quarry Farm and check that out. We can be more direct with some of the inhabitants of the town, like the Reverend or maybe even the parents of the kids, which sounds pretty maybe too straightforward.
I don't think that's a good thing. What are you going to ask them?
Maybe find the location where they found the boys to go investigate that more specifically.
Well,
I think maybe talking to the local Reverend here might be a better
once
way,
again,
because he's
I
what
think
are you what are you going to ask him?
Farm, because that's where the lady went, right? If that's why we're here.
That makes sense.
So
What would you ask of the Reverend?
Well, the Reverend is he's the Reverend for the town. He's a community leader, and he would seem to me, maybe I'm going out on a limb here, but he seemed to me that he'd be more willing to talk with people outside the town than, let's say, the mayor or with some of the townsfolk,
Well,
because they're very much on edge, and really don't want to talk.
What information are you looking for that we don't already have?
The Reverend could tell us more about the town, couldn't he? I mean, what do we know about this town?
This is the town. This is it.
All right, let's go ahead and follow up on the farm lead. See where that takes us.
I think
I'm going wherever you all want to go.
I think that you made a good point, though. I think now here's the strange thing. Usually, religious cults are not well accepted by the community. True? And believe me, when we first moved our church to where we have it, the community was not too happy. And we are not a cult. We are the major religion. So cults are usually not well accepted. I am surprised they haven't gone straight to the cult and said, maybe you're sacrificing our children to whatever you believe in.
What's to say they aren't going to do it and just haven't done it yet because of all the cops here?
Well, they have the children's bodies. They were mangled. I'm just thinking they would be prime suspects as far as the police would go.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to understand by, where the children were murdered, where's the commune at, right? I mean, sort of just trying to get a general feel for it. But I agree. I think the farm is probably the strongest lead at this point.
Let's see where the woman went. Yes. And they said that she went there, and what did they say, 20 minutes later?
They went there, she went there, and about 20 minutes later she drove back. Past the
She only went there for a short time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's the wrong place, if that's where she was going. But let's go find out. That's a good idea.
Like I said, wherever you want to go, I'll go with you all.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. In that case, you all pile into the minibus, and it only takes about 5 minutes.
Right.
To drive up there, and you reach the gate of a rather run-down-looking farm.
Rather rundown. Do we see any people out there?
Can't see anyone from the gate.
There's no people walking around in white robes.
Nope.
No wild beasts capable of tearing a horse in half.
No, there's a few big barns. And a lot of mud.
They don't look like they're in good repair.
No, it doesn't look like it's. It looks like it's been neglected. It looks like it's still. You can tell you can hear the noise of livestock.
You said lots of mud.
Any
tracks, human footprints? Anything we can see?
There's a lot of cattle tracks.
But no human boot print or anything like that?
The mud is mainly, it's just been churned up by cattle. You'd probably see like a couple of welly boot prints.
No vehicles outside?
That's
Yeah, there's a couple of vehicles outside. There's pretty shabby looking old Land Rover and an equally shabby looking estate car. And over in one of the barns, you can just see the front of an old tractor, a 1950s Massey Ferguson tractor. Looks
There
quite,
and there
quite rusty.
there is a farmhouse on the property, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Walk up to the farmhouse and knock on the door.
Now wait, we need to figure out what we're going to say. Ask if they've seen our friend, the woman with the green scarf.
That was my game plan.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Perfect.
There's quite a long delay, and a rather dirty-looking old man opens the door and just sort of barks at you and says, "What do you want?"
Good afternoon, sir. Don't
I ain't buying nothing. Fuck off.
Oh, I apologize. Certainly don't mean to.
Go on, get off my land. I don't care what it is. I don't want you here. Get off my land. Go on.
I understand.
Get off, or I'll fetch my gun.
It's certainly no way to greet a lost patron.
He's gonna get his gun. Shit.
He slams the door in your face.
Oh, these British locals are super friendly.
What did he say?
About 30 seconds later, just as you're wondering what to do next, he opens the door again and comes out, and he now has a shotgun.
Okay. Well,
Sir, we are
that's
just
what he
looking
said.
for a friend. We are looking
Get
for
off my land. Go on. Be off with you. Get off.
We are leaving. Goodbye.
I don't care what you want. Go on. Piss off.
I don't think she's here.
Me neither.
Not Nigel shows off his incredible driving skills for such a doddering old man and hits the gas pedal, and we get the hell out of there.
You hear a shotgun blast as you're driving off. Doesn't seem to hit
Any
you,
damage?
Oh, I hope not. This is the church van.
You get the feeling
I'll go back next week, and they'll be like, "Why are there bullet holes in the
Father
back of the-"
Damialos brings it back with 2 shotgun shots. Why is the church van full of buckshot?
Someone's gonna have to explain to Nicholas.
I'll tell him it's a trick of the demons. It's Satan.
And
Shot at
he's
us.
not going to be happy at all.
Okay.
Well,
That was our strongest lead.
Let's go to our next strongest lead.
maybe she went this way, and she got the same reception.
Right.
We need to find out where this cult is. I don't think that's the cult. Cult people are usually dressed in strange white robes and
Do we
Yeah,
or
well,
funny
ideally
little
less
funny
well-armed.
little hats, but in white.
do we know the name of the farm that the cult is at?
No, we don't even know if it's at a farm,
And
except that they have bees.
Right. I would think they would, for a large bee estate. Oh, excuse me. They're going to need some land.
I think Cam mentioned he had a general location, but if we need more information, maybe we can get that from the Reverend or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, maybe the Reverend will know who his rivals are.
Yeah.
Right.
Or religious.
Who knows? Well,
I
The
think at this point we should freeze time and come back next week.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with shattered nerves, you head back. Should we say you head back to the pub, towards the pub?
That's always a good place to go.
The minibus
With shattered nerves.
trundles back towards the pub,
All right.
and on that bombshell,
That bombshell.
That buckshot.
All right.
No.
Our players included Jeff Wilkins, Bill Mize, Corey Heisted, Ford Fitch, Josh Hook, and myself with Mick Swan as the Keeper of the Secrets. We're currently producing 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to become a patron of our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest postings. And be sure to leave us some comments. We love hearing from you. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good gaming.